Hey guys, so today I want to show you how to take Mixamo motion capture data and transfer it onto any rig that you want to use for your animations. So we'll be grabbing a rig today from Agora Community. I just want to take something simple. And this kind of only works for bipeds, so people or characters with two legs, two arms. Let's use the Stormtrooper. That's kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to use the Stormtrooper. Let's go ahead and download it. So here we are on Mixamo. It is, it's from Adobe. I think they bought it from somebody else. I can't remember. But you can see I already was playing around with this with the different character with Gru. So first, let's get into Maya. Let's create a reference. Create reference editor. That little button creates reference, and then we'll just go to. I've unzipped the file from Agora and put it in this assets folder. So we have our Stormtrooper. So we'll just reference that file. And all I'm gonna do is, let's see what group has the geo. So we'll go here, we'll just grab all the geo. So now we'll go File, Export, Selection. We're gonna make sure to click FBX, and that should be good. We'll just call this Export. All right, so we're gonna export this, FBX export, and we'll just call this Stormtrooper Geo. And then export. Okay. And let's go back over to Mixamo. Okay, boom. So all we need is this to place the joints. So I'm going to say that this is correct. So we're gonna say next. And then we can place kind of where we want our joints to be. And it gives you this little like zoomed in version. And I'm just gonna roughly place all these. We're not gonna be using the weights from this, so it doesn't really matter too much. We just want the general placement and the naming convention of the skeleton from Mixamo. So it's gonna run through this, it's gonna create a rig, all the skeleton joints, naming, everything, and we're gonna take it back into Maya and do some stuff. Takes a couple minutes. Stand up, go take a walk.
One eternity later.
Cool. So we have this, and this is where we can start to preview, make sure that things are moving correctly and not getting stretched. Seems to be doing a pretty good job, which is cool. All right, we're gonna download this. FBX original pose download. And we're just gonna open up this Mixamo folder. This is where I'm gonna put the export. All right, so here I have the Mixamo skeleton right here, and each control, all of these are snapped to the location, not the rotation, just the location of each control. So now, then these are constrained to the skeleton. So if I move the hips, the whole rig goes along with it. All these move with the skeleton. So now, and all I did there was, let's save this. File, new scene. What I did was I went File, Import. I got that Mixamo rig skeleton in here, and we're just going to delete the geo because we don't need it. And then I'm going to import, go to assets, Stormtrooper. I'm going to import this rig into the scene, and then you can save it out as what I had before. But then I just take this geometry, hide it, and then kind of a tedious step, but what you need to do is take the controls and then select your joint that you want to snap to it. Go to constrain, parent options, and then turn off maintain offset and turn off rotation, because we just want the pivot. You could also go constrain point constraint, and then it'll just do translation. But we want to maintain that offset, turn that off. So we're going to apply, and then all these, you're just going to do that to all these joints. And then once you have all that parented, you're going to select your Mixamo skeleton, go to edit, delete by type, constraints, and they'll stay in that position, which is what you want. And then you'll do the reverse. So you'll select the joint, then the control, and then we're going to do a parent constraint. You do constrain, parent options. We want to turn on maintain offset on, and we want to turn translate and rotation on. If you it's in the same spot, so it shouldn't matter for this to be on or off, but it does, because if we keep it off and we hit apply, it'll rotate to a weird position. So we want to select the joint, then select the controller, keep maintain offset on, and apply. And that way it'll stay in the same position, and we can rotate it and it'll follow. So do that with the whole rig, and then you'll get this, and this is where you can grab the whole thing and everything's parented correctly. So now we can go back to Mixamo, and we can start looking for some animations. Let's go search combat. I think that was a really funny kind of brutal assassination. This is cool. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna download this. We're gonna without skin, and then FBX ASCII. 30 frames per second is fine. Download. So this is our default pose export. So I'm just gonna create a new one and type add. Then we can go in here. We can just drag our brutal assassination animation here. Let's just sort that. Okay, let's grab another one. Let's do something with the gun, because they have the gun asset in there. So what we can do, let's do. Okay, so he's just aiming. All right, so we'll download this again without skin, 30 frames per second. FBX ASCII, and download. And then again, we'll bring this over, and we'll grab this idle aiming animation, throw it in there. We'll go back to Maya. Now let's unhide this geo. So we have this guy, and now we can grab our folder. We can just drag and drop. So I'm going to bring this in first. I'm just going to hold it over there. So it says, going to ask about the namespace. We'll just say apply and close. And look at that. We have this nice animation. So we can drag this out a little bit. So we go back to this folder. Our other animation. We're just going to drag it right there. Apply and close. Okay. So now it'll switch to that. Which is cool. So we'll just drag that out. Here, select these, just frame it. You can also just kind of maybe this one down here. The graph at her up there. Okay, so now what we can do is we can drag these, and it'll get them over and mix them together. Let's go ahead and play that. Okay, so I like this pose to start. So what we can do is we can slice this. I'm going to delete that, and then I'm going to blend that start. So he goes straight into the hit, just kind of what I want. Cool. Okay, so now what we can do is we're going to bake the scene and delete. So now we still have our animation. We have our idol, he gets shot in the privates, and then he dies. Beautiful. Classic Stormtrooper. So now what we can do is, this is just to kind of retarget that animation onto a rig, and then we'll save it into Studio Library. Okay, so now that we have that baked, I'm going to grab this guy, isolate, and I can just select all these, not the root, and then we'll go to key, bake simulation, selected, and from channel box. So we just want to bake out these constraints, so we'll just do translate rotation, time slider is fine, base animation, keep, let's see, keep unbaked keys, we'll turn that off, run simulations, fine, let's bake it. Okay, now go here, hips, just delete this. Cool. So now we have that. We don't want to save it because we want to keep that Mixamo copy rig as its own file. So now what we can do is bring in, so say we're wanting to transfer this to the rig. So all this is baked out, which is nice. And we can save it to Studio Library. So here I'll go new folder, and I'll do Stormtrooper. Okay. And then I'll go here, new animation, and I'm going to, let's hide this gun. No, I don't want that. Just want this rig. So we'll like that, select all, accept the root, then we'll click on this. It'll do a little play blast. Okay, then we can just like watch it. Cool, so we see that it's a death. So now we can type in, you know, our name for our mixed up animation. So we'll type in aim to death. Cool. So we'll save it as an ASCII file. We got our 170 frames, one frame. Cool, we'll save it. Cool, so now we have this animation. So we don't need to save this file because we have it right there. So what we'll do is we'll go new scene. And then we can, you know, say this is our shot. So let's save this as scenes, you know, whatever your naming convention says. Anim 01, say this is our first shot. You know, say save. Then we can bring in our reference. So I'll create a reference, Control R, bring in our Stormtrooper rig. So we'll grab just the root, or no, sorry, the hips, or one of the controls that you saved to this. We'll right click, select content, it'll grab all those controls, and then we'll just double click. And we have that animation. Let's drag out our timeline. So now we have all that, and you can start editing this. I mean, all the keys around the curves, and it's working nicely. You know, that. And there's other tools that you can do for, you know, IK to FK. Right now it's all in FK, which, you know, can be hard to adjust if you want to make, you know, clean up the motion capture or whatever. But that's the way that I get Mixamo onto my rigs and use that for, you know, if I want to get some background characters or whatever into my scenes. I'll usually set it up that way. It's a bit of a process, but it works really well, and it works, you know, you have that whole Mixamo library to your you know, use it to your advantage. Here's the link, just studiolibrary.com for that. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Please like, follow, subscribe, and turn on that notification so you can get updates for further videos. Thanks.